Thank you for welcoming me onto your screens, onto your headphones, depending on how you're watching this. I'm Eddie, and this is The Rollback. Folks, I'm going to talk to you today about Wonka, aka Willy Wonka and a heartfelt musical. So Wonka tells the story of a young man, a young inventor, a young magician, and a young chocolatier, I think is technically candy inventor, but I think chocolatier might be the better word for it. Anyway, Willy Wonka has just come to the big city to open his store and make his fortune. He reminds me of a young man who thinks that he's prepared to take on the world and then unfortunately gets slapped back down real quick. Not that I can relate. Anyway, that said, Wonka is not what I expected. I didn't realize it was going to be a musical. I knew that there would be music in it. But it's a really good balance of non-music and music. It's a really good balance of lyrics, symbolism, and story. I like the idea and the concept of Wonka, when he first starts out as a humble young man. I like the idea, the heartfulness of the fact that he grew up poor with his mother, and his mother every week would bring back one cocoa bean, which after a year was just enough to give him one chocolate bar on his birthday. She would make it herself by hand, and it was the most delicious thing that he ever had. He wanted to recapture those memories with his mother, at one point thinking, she would appear once he opened his chocolate store. Unfortunately, that cannot be the case. This is a story also of growth. Wonka coming to terms, not necessarily with the death of his mother. I think, it's very clear that she passed away, but more or less with him, trying to fulfill his lifelong destiny, his lifelong dream. At the ripe old age of, I want to say 18, I could be wrong, maybe he's a little older, possibly, I don't know. That said though, the visuals are great. The music is actually very heartfelt and fun, a lot of original storytelling, which, at this day and age, we're getting another musical next year with Mean Girls, so if musicals are making a comeback and they consist of this quality, I'm all in for it. Contrary to popular belief from certain individuals, I don't hate musicals. I just don't like it when they're shoved in needlessly. Talking to you, Chema and Fernie. Just pointing that out there, guys. Now, that said, Wonka, like I said, fun, great visuals, great storytelling. I don't have a lot of negatives to say because it's a very simple, to me at least, simple and straightforward story. There's no bad in it. I like the bad guys. I like the fact that Slugworth is in this. Great little, homage there. We also get the first, technically, Oompa Loompa in... God, what's his name? Hugh Grant. We get the first Oompa Loompa with Hugh Grant, which is a bit odd. There was some controversy, apparently, about that, as to them not using an actual little person. I understand why. Maybe they thought that might have been offensive to use an actual little person. I don't know. That's corporate stuff. But with a budget of $120 million and an opening box office of $150 million, this movie was very clearly a success. Now, will they continue the series? I'm not quite sure. I'm not aware that there will be a future. But if this is a standalone one-shot, it's great. It's solid. I do want to give a shout-out to one particular character, Noodle, played by Miss Killy Lane. She's sentenced to a life of indentured servitude from the time she was born. However, as the story goes along, Wonka ends up pulling her out of the depths. Her, along with the other people who are stuck working at this weird, washcloth place. It's just a really nice, heartfelt story of good people who all work together. It's just nice all the way through. It's a nice film to end the year. It's a great Christmas film to end out the year also. I would encourage you to take your family. Wonka, for me at least, it's going to be an A. Everything about this works. I can't help but like the character, and unfortunately, I'm now a fan of Timothy Chalamet, which I've been able to avoid very well for the past 3-4 years. But alas, in this film, he's pretty damn good. I like him. So yeah, that's going to cut it for this episode of Wonka. What did you think? Go and comment down below. We'd greatly appreciate it, and we'll catch y'all later. We'll see everybody.